If this is your first time at UUCDC, we are very happy to see you. Love is the power that holds us together as a community. As we enter into worship, let's please open our hearts to the healing power of our liberating love. Please stand as you are able to sing our opening hymn, number 131, Love Will Guide Us. Our ministerial candidate, Reverend Laura Solomon, will now light our chalice. Please be seated. My name is Marva Williams, and I am the worship associate this morning. I am joined by our ministerial candidate, Reverend Laura Solomon, Chrissy Bushyaker, who's our Director of Faith Development, and our wonderful musicians, Bob Rowland, Joy Thiessen, and the UUCDC Choir. The flowers today are spectacular, and the calla lilies were provided by Ruth Herndon in her appreciation of the search committee. Thank you, Ruth. This is our candidating week. This is a joyful week, and it's going to be a busy week starting today. So the picnic on the playground is going to be in the basement. And we've made various changes. I think actually that's the only one. So please do join us for that. There's lots of information about Candidating Week and the activities and connections. Please take a look at that. The Board of Directors will also be sending an email about voting next Sunday after our 10 a.m. service. So we will vote after that service, and Reverend Laura will kindly excuse herself for a short while, and then we will have the results of the election. And we're planning a celebration. So we may be getting ahead of ourselves, but we're looking forward to celebrating one way or another. We regret that the vote is on Mother's Day. And we hope that all you moms out there can enjoy Mother's Day after the service. But you can vote by Zoom, you can vote by telephone, and you can vote in person. So there are lots of opportunities there. So for those of you who are joining us on Zoom, please remember that you can activate closed captioning. And if you would like to talk to others after the service, please stay on and you will be introduced to a breakout room.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Laura Solomon, and I am so pleased to be here with you all this morning. I invite you to take a deep breath with me. There is lots of excitement and maybe nervous energy this morning. I may be speaking for myself. So we take a moment to settle, to enter into a worshipful space and community together. Let's take one more breath. Our opening words this morning are from author Padraig Tuma. This is called Narrative Theology Number 1. And I said to him, "Are there answers to all of this?" And he said, "The answer is in the story, and the story is being told." And I said, "But there is so much pain." And she answered plainly, "Pain will happen." Then I said, "Will I ever find meaning?" And they said, "You will find meaning where you give meaning." The answer is in the story, and the story isn't finished. Let us worship together.
We gather together each week, filled with the joys and sorrows of our lives. We have a time in our service where we can share these with one another as an image, as a ritual, dropping stones into the bowl of water, noticing that as the stones send ripples through the water, we can be reminded that our joys and sorrows ripple through our communities and are shared together. For those on Zoom, I invite you to share your joys and sorrows in the chat. For those of you in person, I invite you to talk to one another during coffee hour, during pastries in the basement for RE families, and share your joys and sorrows with your community that way. All are welcome to participate in our ritual. Please come down the side aisles and return to your seat through the center aisle. I dropped a final stone for the joys and sorrows that were expressed via Zoom and those in the hearts of those who are not with us this morning. We're going to have a moment of prayer, followed by a little bit of silent reflection, and then Joy will play Spirit of Life, and we just sing where we are seated for that. Please join me in prayer. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Spirit of hope, Spirit of justice, Spirit of transformation, God known by many different names. We have filled our bowl with stones, the joys and the sorrows and the grief and the celebrations and the worries and the responsibilities and the love. Let us have a moment to set these down, to rest with one another. May we feel peace. May we experience grace. And in a little while, when we pick up these weights once more, may we find our burden lightened and our hope restored. Amen.
I'd now like to introduce Lim Capello, who is the Executive Director of Peters Place. We will be sharing our offertory with Peters Place this month. She'd like to say a few words about the organization.
Hello and good morning, everyone. I want to sincerely thank Susan Rubenstein and all of you for having Peters Place here today. As she said, my name is Stephanie Lim Capello, and I am the Executive Director of Peters Place. Peters Place was established in 2001 after the sudden and tragic death of Peter Morsbach at the age of 10. Peters Place was founded on the premise that no child should ever grieve alone. With this vision as our guiding principle, our mission is to provide safe and supportive environments for children and families who are grieving and to act as a community resource to foster understanding on the effects of death and grief. I believe that grief is one of the true common strings that weaves us all together as human beings. We will all experience grief at some point in time. How many of you have had someone close to you die? My mother died this past June, and my father died 9 years ago. My sister and I often speak about how we feel like orphans with them gone. But being able to talk about the death of my parents and sharing my feelings has really helped me along my grief journey. Since opening our doors in 2001, Peters Place has directly served more than 15,000 grieving children and adult caregivers through on-site programs, our school and community-based programs, which are at no cost to our families. We are truly honored to partner with all of you as the recipient of your May Share the Plate services. The support we receive from you will directly benefit both our on-site programs and our off-site programs in schools in the greater Philadelphia area. Our model is a peer-to-peer model, so we are not one-on-one therapy. Instead, we group children starting at the age of 4 through seniors in high school. Children grieve very differently than us as adults. They often grieve in silence, not knowing what to think or how to express what they are feeling. Our group model places them with their peers, and together they learn more specifically about the proper language to use, openly express all the feelings they may be feeling, share all the things they may be experiencing, and we can give them the common tools and the resources to work through their grief together. As we all know, you don't get over your grief. It lives, breathes, and grows with you as you evolve as a person. For example, a former board member shared his story. His mother died when he was 10, and his wife died when their son was 10. It wasn't until a decade later that his son shared how lonely that time in his life was. He always felt like he was the only one who didn't have a mom. Teachers would say things like, "Don't forget to tell your mom how great you did on your test. Don't forget to have your mom sign your permission slip." He knew they didn't mean to hurt his feelings. They just didn't know. Oftentimes, he didn't want to share that he didn't have a mom for fear of making them feel bad or having to go through this scenario of, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." That former board member wished his son had Peters Place back then, but feels the comfort in knowing that Peters Place is here now to provide so many children and families with the support they need. In these post-COVID times, we are seeing an increase in the person who died as being a parent or direct caregiver, with the leading cause of death as violent death, such as homicide, suicide, and substance use, followed by chronic illness and medical crisis. A recent study released by the Children's Bereavement Estimation Model shared that 1 in 11 children in the state of Pennsylvania will experience the death of a parent or sibling by the age of 18. While this statistic is staggering, the silver lining again is knowing that organizations like Peters Place exist and will be there for those children and families if and when they need us. It is because of communities like the Unitarian Universalist Church that help make our work possible. I was really touched by the stones of joy and sorrow that you all did. We do something similar with our children in group. They actually will take stones and either put something on there that's in honor of their person that died, or something about themselves, and then they place them in our healing garden. So it really resonated with me when you all did that. Before I conclude, I wanted to share this excerpt from one of the books we share with our children. It's called One Wave at a Time by Holly Thompson. Sadness comes and goes in waves. Along with the sad waves come mad waves, towering and strong. Some waves are fear waves. Some days there are no waves, just flatness. Happy waves, too, slip in to tickle and tackle. Waves of all kinds tumble in one after another in no special order, unpredictable as the sea. Waves barely there, waves I can ride, waves that break and crash. When I spy a wave, I inhale slowly. The waves still come, sad waves, mad waves, flat waves, and fear waves. But when they roll in, I surf them, one wave at a time. Your support and generosity ensures that no child will ever have to surf those waves alone. We will together be there with them every step of the way. So on behalf of the children and families and partners that we serve, I want to thank all of you for having Peter's Place here today and for all that you do to support our mission. Thank you.
This church is a community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm it and enable its participation in Peter's Place and many other parts of the world. Our offertory will now be generously given and graciously received.
Thank you. What a Sunday this is. On top of Reverend Laura Solomon being here with us, our ministerial candidate, this is the last Sunday of our religious education program. We have graduations happening in 2 of our OWL classes. We have parties happening in our RE classes. And our coming of age youth have been at their retreat all weekend. They left here at 7 in the morning on Friday, and they were doing, we left here at 7 in the morning on Friday, and we're doing all kinds of fun activities all day Friday. Yesterday, we dropped them in the woods where they sat in solo vigil for many hours, and then came back and we talked about what that experience is, because these are 8th and 9th graders. There are 15 of them. They are at that cusp of childhood leading into adolescence, and this is that time in our congregation where we mark that big transition. After the service, their parents are going to be heading up to camp, and the families will meet and they will renegotiate their relationships as children become youth and have more responsibilities, more privileges. This is a major time of transformation. So if you see an adult in our congregation who has a red piece of yarn around their wrist, they are a COA parent, and they're gonna have this wonderful, oh, I love it, you're holding up your yarn, thank you. They are gonna have a very transformative, their children, their youth, have had a transformative experience already, and they are going to get to join them in a little bit. And fingers crossed, our COA youth are watching this service right now from camp, assuming they got the technology working, so we can wave to them if they're there. It's one of the biggest, COA is one of the most logistically challenging parts of my job, and it is the biggest joy and honor to get to be with them when they come back from their solo vigils. So, in the spirit of transformation, I have a story for us today. It comes from the Sufi tradition, and it's about a stream. So there was a stream that formed at the top of a mountain, and it flowed down. It flowed over boulders and rocks. It flowed over waterfalls and crashed at the bottom into ponds, and then flowed further on. It kept flowing through towns and past pastures where cows drank from the stream. It flowed past playgrounds where children were playing and houses. And it flowed and flowed until it got to a desert. And the stream wanted to continue to flow through the desert, but every time the stream tried to flow through the sand, it disappeared. It couldn't do it. It couldn't flow through the desert in the way that it had flowed over all those other obstacles. The stream didn't know what to do. It wanted to cross the desert. And the stream heard a voice coming from the sand itself that said, "The wind crosses the desert." Okay, well that makes sense, because the wind can fly, the stream cannot fly. And the sand spoke again, and it said, "The wind crosses the desert. The stream can cross the desert too, just not in the way that it is accustomed." Apparently deserts speak in riddles. And the stream was trying to figure this out. How in the world could it possibly cross the desert? It was not the wind, it was water. And the sand spoke again, and the sand said, "The stream must be absorbed into the wind, and it can cross the desert and be let go as rain on the other side." The stream did not like this idea. The stream wasn't sure what being absorbed felt like. It sounded like it could be painful. It sounded like it could be the kind of change that is not good. Like, what would happen if the stream was no longer a stream? If the stream is absorbed by the wind and carried, anything could happen. It could not be itself anymore. It could lose its identity, and it kind of liked being a stream. And the sand spoke again, and the sand said, well, if the stream chooses to stay at the edge of the desert, it will cease to be a stream. It will become a quagmire. A quagmire is generally not a great thing. It just gets stuck there. So the stream thought about it some more, and it vaguely remembered, somewhere like in the back of its existence, having once been carried by the wind. It was just this faint memory, but it decided to trust. The stream decided to trust and to open itself up, to be absorbed, to evaporate up into the sky. And the stream was carried over the desert a long, long, long way and dropped in rain at the top of a mountain, where it reformed as a stream, stronger and wiser than it had been before. Thank you for listening to my story this morning.
Thank you to Marva and Chrissy and Joy and all of our musicians. What a joy it is to be part of this worship team this morning. Our reading this morning is called Courage by Anne Sexton. It is in the small things that we see it. The child's first step, as awesome as an earthquake. The first time you rode a bike wallowing up the sidewalk, the first spanking when your heart went on a journey all alone, when they called you crybaby or poor or fatty or crazy and made you into an alien and you drank their acid and concealed it. Later, if you faced the death of bombs and bullets, you did not do it with a banner. You did it with only a hat to cover your heart. You did not fondle the weakness inside you, though it was there. Your courage was a small coal that you kept swallowing. If your buddy saved you and died himself in doing so, then his courage was not courage, it was love. Simple, and love as simple as shaving soap. Later, if you have endured a great despair, then you did it alone, getting a transfusion from the fire, picking the scabs off your heart, then wringing it out like a sock. Next, my kinsman, you powdered your sorrow, you gave it a back rub, and then you covered it with a blanket. And after it had slept a while, it woke to the wings of the roses and was transformed. Later, when you face old age and its natural conclusion, your courage will still be shown in the little ways. Each spring will be a sword you'll sharpen. Those you love will live in a fever of love, and you'll bargain with the calendar, and at the last moment, when death opens the back door, you'll put on your carpet slippers and stride out. Amen. Thank you all. One of the first things that people usually learn about me is that I love my dog, Maisel. Maisel is a rescue dog, probably some sort of hound something or other mix. She's long and lean and has the longest legs, and she loves to run. Maisel's long legs and her aerodynamic body also make her really good at running. The number of people at the dog park who comment on the fact that she was built to run speaks to just how naturally running comes to Maisel. She would chase tennis balls for hours. But here's the thing. Maisel chases tennis balls under one condition. She will only run after tennis balls if she is sure she is going to win. And I don't mean that she has to feel confident that she is going to outrun any other dog. I mean, she has to be the only dog running for the ball. As soon as another dog sees the ball and begins heading towards it, Maisel stops. She stands and watches that other dog chase the ball, retrieve the ball, and then she trots back to me with a look on her face as if to say, well, that was disappointing. I am not a competitive person, and I am a very patient person. But something about this behavior of Maisel's frustrates me to no end. "You're faster than him," I want to yell as she cedes her ball to the basset hound. Just run. Try harder. But Maisel will not try harder. She will watch that basset hound slowly trot to the ball with sadness on her face as if she's thinking, man, I wish I could have gotten that. I don't know what the risk of losing the tennis ball means to Maisel. I am certain that if she would have taken the risk of trying, she would have outrun the basset hound, but I'm just as certain that she would have lost to the border collie. I've tried everything. Encouragement, running with her, even a little shaming, to be honest. You are literally twice their size, I will say. But as much as I try, Maisel does not actually care when I tell her that she can do it, that she just needs to keep going. She loves tennis balls, but it's just a risk that she isn't willing to take. This week, we reached 100 days since the inauguration and the beginning of this administration. As I look at the days behind us and the even longer, harder days ahead, I've realized that I'm feeling a little like Maisel, a little hopeless, a little frozen, knowing I should try to do something, but also feeling unsure of what and whether it will even matter. These days, I'm finding that talking about persistence feels cliche and hope feels thin in the face of all that is before us. I find myself longing for something that will sustain me. I need something gritty that talks about the risk of this time and the risk it takes to keep going. So I've been returning to that poem we opened with by Padraig Ó Tuama. The answer is in the story, he writes, and the story isn't finished. If Maisel could understand more English words, I wonder what might be different if she could understand that the story isn't finished. What if she could understand that there is more that is yet to be written and that she can shape the story purely by doing what she loves, that which is her strength, that which brings her joy, and taking the risk of continuing to run? I recently read the book, How We Learn to Be Brave, by the Right Reverend Marianne Edgar Buddy. Reverend Buddy was in the news a few months ago as the bishop who provided the homily at the service of prayer for the nation following Trump's inauguration. In her book, she writes, "A vision of what could be is what inspires us to start on a journey. We begin by taking the first step and every step that follows. Along the way, we are changed. The goal itself might change, or perhaps it may not even be realized. But in deciding to start, we put ourselves on the path of our transformation." In deciding to start, we put ourselves on the path of our transformation. Many of us have the idea that courage or risk is about grand actions or doing something that will change the course of history. But what if it was actually much more simple? What if it was actually those smaller moments that Anne Sexton talked about in our reading, moments of purpose and promise and perseverance? As Unitarian Universalists, we say that love is at the center of our faith. Our new Article 2 shows us our values with love at the center. Love is our guiding light. Love is our strength. And in a world that feels broken, love is a risk. It is a risk to love a broken world that does not promise to love us back. It is a risk to love the broken people who we know might hurt us, might disappoint us. But what if, rather than thinking about courage and risk, we just started with love and allowed that starting to shape the journey to transformation? When we look at the enormity of the world's need, we imagine that what is needed are big, grand actions from each of us. And by all means, if you have answers and big, grand actions, now is the time to do them. But most of the time, what we actually have are daily decisions that are micro-actions of love. The decision not to buy from that store with policies that are hurting people you love. The decision to wear that t-shirt that proclaims your values. The decision to vote in that local election you weren't totally informed about until it was time to vote. But it is with those daily decisions that we continue to write the story of our time. We can't usually see it. But the truth is that these small daily decisions matter in the big sense, in the way that it matters that the boycott of Target has resulted in a $12.4 billion loss in revenue as people show their disdain for the company's reversal of their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Even if Target does not respond to their consumers' voices, choosing love in this situation matters because every small act of justice feeds the next. Every micro-action we take empowers us and changes us and helps us to build a life of resistance and love, even when we don't see the bigger picture, even when we can't see the end result. It is through love that we keep writing the story, whose ending we don't know yet. We know what we hope for, But all we can do is keep writing the story of love, because it is with love that we fight for freedom, for joy, and for the world we still believe is possible. Our Unitarian Universalist faith calls us to side with love, especially when love is costly, because that love asks something of us. Sikh activist Valerie Carr calls this revolutionary love. Love, she writes, is a form of sweet labor, fierce, bloody, imperfect, and life-giving, a choice we make over and over again. Revolutionary love is the choice to enter into labor for others, for our opponents, and for ourselves in order to transform the world around us. It is not a formal code or prescription, but an orientation to life that is personal and political and rooted in joy. For some of us, this revolutionary love can mean showing up for protests and direct action. It can mean strikes and risking arrest. For some of us, it means calling our representatives or participating in boycotts or having conversations with people who disagree with us. For some of us, revolutionary love means wearing the clothes that best express our gender, using the public restroom that affirms our identity. For some of us, revolutionary love means loving ourselves and the world as best as we're able while existing in public, in our doctor's offices, in our schools, in the bodies we were born in, with our various genders and disabilities and skin colors and ethnicities and cultural expressions. The risk is different for everyone. Only you can decide what, how much, when, and where you risk. The only constant is that the risk is love. Love for ourselves, love for one another, love for this incredibly broken world. We start with the risk of love, and then we continue with always just one more risk, because the story isn't finished. So we start again with one more risk of love. So it feels particularly fitting and particularly, well, risky to begin a new ministry during this time. How risky, how courageous, how audacious even to begin a new ministry in these times. This is an act of holy courage. To begin a new ministry is to plant something tender and hopeful in a soil that is cracked with uncertainty. The world around us trembles with division, fear, and change, and still we gather, daring to say yes to relationship, yes to community, yes to love. We are saying yes, even in this broken uncertainty, we dare to build something sacred together. In this moment of our nation's life where trust is fragile and futures are uncertain, to say yes to ministry in any form is to declare that love still matters, that spirituality matters, that justice matters, that love is not only worth believing in, it is worth building. And that fills me with pride and moves me to tears. We already know that saying yes to ministry means there will be growing pains. There will be hard conversations. There will be questions without easy answers. But if we are honest and open and willing to risk the vulnerability and change that ministry asks of us, then there will also be transformation. This is our work. This is our faith. And this risky, beautiful, uncertain place where we find ourselves. This is holy ground. Amen. Please rise in body or in spirit. We are going to sing hymn number 121 together. Since this hymn was written, our understanding of gender has changed, and the author of this hymn has given permission for us to change the words in the chorus from sisters and brothers to people together. So while you see the words sisters and brothers, we are going to sing people together. Let us sing. Y'all did great with that word change. Nice work. We are going to extinguish our chalice. Thank you, Marva. And I have heard and have had the chance to read your gorgeous benediction. Please join me in saying our benediction words together. For those who come here seeking God, may God go with you. For those who come here embracing life, may life return your affection. And for those who come to seek a path, May a way be found and the courage to take it step by step. Blessed be. Go in peace. It is such a pleasure to be with you all this morning.